So my session is on leadership for improving teaching and learning process. So yeah, that's it. So basically, talking about schools, in the Indian education system, uh, as a country, we have overcome a lot of challenges. Next, the first slide. You can show. Yeah. So as a country, we have overcome a lot of challenges with regard to access and enrollment. So you know that we have improved. Our schools have improved. Children have improved in access, and children's enrollment is also increasing. And this is mainly because of a number of the funding projects, like there was SSA and RMSA, and now there is the Samagra. So a lot of investment has gone into children, improving the infrastructure of the schools and improving the number of schools. Like new schools are being built very occasionally. So children are able to reach schools, and the children's enrollment in the schools is also increasing, which is excellent. But there is the current problem, as you all know, is not about to what extent children are able to reach schools and be in the schools, but the current issue that we are all facing, and this is a very, very important issue, it's a very big challenge, is what exactly is happening in the classroom, whether the children are learning or whether the children are not learning, and to what extent learning is happening in the classrooms. Because there are so many international and national reports that have come saying that a child in 8th standard is not able to do the basic reading and writing skills that a child in 2nd standard is supposed to do. You know, these kind of research evidences are coming up, and number of them are coming up. And so why I'm saying this is quality of education has become a very big question. Now, this has also repercussions here. What is happening is that the quality of education in government schools is being questioned, you know. So this is where we are all we are engaged in this kind of situation where learning happening in government schools, and many school principals say that ma'am, there are new private schools coming within a vicinity, and many children from my school move on to the private schools because they are not sure, the parents are not sure about the kind of quality that is happening in government schools. Well, this is a reality, but whether it's true or not is something that we need to check it out. May be true, may not be true, but this is a situation that is happening in the current education scenario. And this is where the impact of school leadership is coming. So what is the result, or what is the answer to these questions is, can a school leader in a school take up this challenge of improving quality in the schools? Because a lot of research evidences which has say that it is a school head who can bring people together in the schools. You know, there is the teachers, there is the children, there is the community, there are the parents, and there are the other, you know, the industries and the NGOs and whatever are present in the community. And of course, there is the CRC officials and the BRCs and the ACRT, the leaders. So is it the school principal has that ability to take people together, to have a vision for the school, to lead the school, and to improve learning? So this is an investment, and this is evidence that researchers have proved. And why I'm telling you this is, as a school principal, you need to remember that you have that ability to change your schools. A school leader, as a site leader, have the ability to improve the quality in your schools, to transform your schools, and to change your schools into a learning organization. So that belief has to be there in you in order to move ahead. Next slide. So the next slide. Yeah. So research has provided evidence on the impact of school leadership on school culture and condition and on the quality of teaching learning process. So just one line I would like to mention here is the impact is not direct. Like school leadership is not directly influencing quality, but it has an indirect influence. And when you say how the indirect influences, the school head improves the learning environment in the classroom, the climate in the classroom. So when I say climate, I mean to say that what is the interpersonal relationship? Who are your teachers? What is the interpersonal relationship between the teachers, between you and the teachers? Are you a authoritarian school head, or are you a democratic? And these are the questions that comes, and which I want you to reflect on yourself also. Are you open to change, or do you resist change? Do you move out of your school to interact, to network with the parents? Like, let us say there is an issue of a lack of infrastructure. So do you just sit back in your school and say that, see, this is a problem, and just weep over it? Or do you go ahead and meet various people and try to solve this problem? So is your school a open institution? So when I say open institution, I mean to say that, do you take ideas from outside? Do you resist change? Do you create a learning environment within your school? Do you accept ideas from your teachers? Do you accept ideas from your students? Do you create an environment where teachers are able to reflect, to change? Do you change? Do you reflect on yourself? So these are the various things that a school leader needs to think, needs to bring about in the classroom, in the school, so as to improve the quality. So what I meant through this slide, I mean to say that a school head may not directly improve the quality of teaching learning process, but his role is very indirect. It is through the teachers, it is through the parents, it is through the students, and it is through himself, his ability to change the learning climate or the learning environment in the classroom and in the school. So the next slide, please. So the recent National Education Policy 2020 has envisioned the role of school leaders. So NEP 2020 has said that school heads have to be an instructional leader in order to improve the teaching learning process in the school, and through facilitating and supporting creation of meaningful learning opportunities in schools and classrooms. So this is what sorry, NEP 2020 has said. And this is why it is very important to empower the school principals and the school heads to develop the knowledge, attitude, and skills required for leading schools and to improve student learning. By the way, NEP has laid a lot of importance on student learning. Okay, so they have realized, the policy has put in a lot of emphasis on improving student learning so that children are able to learn not just at the lower level of knowledge and understanding, but at a higher order thinking skills. This is a very big emphasis on in NEP 2020, which as a school head you also need to know. And as a school head, you have to bring in those processes within the school so that children are not just at the knowledge understanding level, but they are able to apply things beyond application, beyond knowledge and understanding, apply their thinking, create new things. So higher order thinking skills needs to be taken care of. And also there is this issue of silent exclusion, which I want to bring in here, where children come to school, they stay in the school, they are there present, but they are not learning anything, right? The teachers may not be able to offer any inputs for whatever reason. The parents may not be able to keep track of the children's learning. So these are children who are excluded basically. They may be in the school for some time, they may attend, they may drop out, they may come back. But if you see at their learning, what they have learned in a sufficient number of time, you realize that they have not attained anything much, which is a very serious problem, right? So as a school head, you need to identify these kind of situations that are happening in the school, the teacher's role, your role, the parents' role, the community's role. Where do all these people come together, and what is the impact in learning? So silent exclusion is something that you need to take a big care of, so that such children do not exist in your school. And if they exist, then it has to be a matter of grave concern where you have to intervene accordingly. Okay, so can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so coming to the core of today's PPT, today's presentation. So what should the school principals do in order to improve the teaching and learning process? What is the role that they should do? The first thing is establishing goals, and I'll just read out the 5 goals and I'll go into the detail in the upcoming slides. Establishing goals and expectations, first one. Strategic resourcing. Third is planning, coordinating, and evaluating teaching and curriculum. Fourth is promoting and taking part in teacher learning. And fifth is ensuring an orderly and supportive environment. So these, don't worry about the words that are used here. These are very simple things which I'll be able to explain to you. And I'm sure many of you are doing most of the things, but this would be kind of an emphasis and reiteration for you. In case you're not able to do this, there are certain activities you can put, you can develop in your school. So the next slide, Jagdish. The first one, establishing goals and expectations. So as a school principal, if you want your school not to be stagnant, right, in one place, like let us say for 3-4 years your school is, there's no change in your school, then there's something that is really a point of concern. So if your school has to be a dynamic organization, a constantly improving, constantly changing organization, you need to have a vision for your school. And when you have a vision for your school, you need to have a goal for your school. So when you have a vision, to reach that vision, you need to have a very systematic way to reach that vision. For example, if you say that my vision is to have a inclusive environment, a democratic environment in my school, where every child learns. If, let us say it's a very, I'm just giving an example of a vision. So, and one of the goals to reach that vision, if I say that it's something I need to have an activity, I need to develop, prepare a chart for myself. Why? Because I have a chart, I have a plan, and I need to share this plan with my teachers, with my parents, with the parents who are involved, with the community who's involved, with the SMC who's involved. It's not that I have a plan, I keep it in my pocket and I move ahead in a certain direction. That doesn't make you a leader. As a leader, you need to take everybody together. So a vision is always a shared vision. So I think many of you know this term, but I'd like to repeat, please don't move alone, move together, because that is where you can reach much farther ahead. Okay, so if I say that my vision is to make my school inclusive, and the goal, let us say, I want to improve the girls enrollment, right? So this can be a goal in order to reach the vision. As a short term, I would say, a small sub vision, I would say. So now what do I do to improve the girls enrollment? This becomes a question. Now put this question before your teachers during the staff meetings. Have a database. How many girls are enrolled? How many girls are there in the community who are not yet coming to school? Have a database on what could be the reasons. Ask the teachers, ask the parents, talk to the parents. Okay, talk to the children who are already in school, talk to the girl children who are already in school, why aren't your friends coming? So create a database, an authentic database for this problem, discuss with your teachers, ask your teachers on how to go about it. Prepare a plan. For next 2 months, what do we do? For the next 4 months, what do we do? And what is the expected outcome? What are the challenges you will face? List it down. And what do you do if these are the challenges that we hypothesize? What can be the alternative? You know, so you have a concrete plan. And very importantly, see, when you're serious as a school head, when you're serious about your vision, you will show it in your actions, right? Your teachers also will think, अच्छा ये sir, ये madam तो बहुत focused है ना? तो she knows what she is doing. So your passion, your ability to take people together, your ability to find a solution to a particular problem plays a big role for you to bring people together. It's a conviction that you will share with your teachers. So talking about the girls enrollment, so let us say you create a plan, then you with your teachers, if you want to go and meet the parents of children who are not yet enrolled, you can do that. What is the kind of infrastructure you want within your school in order to attract girl children to your school, you can do that. You can talk to various let us say in your village there is a women activist, you know, a women a person who is working for women's empowerment. You bring such people to the school, take ideas from them, right? Talk to the girls' parents, tell them that, see, there are kids who are already there in the school, and this is the kind of changes that is coming in these children. Why don't you send your children also to school? So these are the things. What I'm trying to say is make a plan, make a goal, discuss, get opinions from people, talk about your support structure, have a plan, have a positive outcome that you want to develop in the next couple of months, and try to take people together and have try to reach your short-term goals. And because you reach your short-term goals, you can achieve your vision. So this is something you need to do. You need to plan and have a vision that is a shared vision for your school, and create a school development plan. I know that a school development plan has a very I don't know about Suresh sir can tell me whether in Telangana there is a strict format for a school development plan, but maybe
Yeah, it is there, madam,
it is
but
there.
in a
Yeah,
different format. Yeah, school
yeah.
implementation plan.
Okay, so see that you can do, you can submit it, but for yourself, have a simple plan with these short-term goals and how to act, how to achieve these goals. Share it, stick it in your classroom or stick it in your staff room, so that people have the ability, the teachers know that we are all moving somewhere, we are all moving together, and they will learn from you. The teachers will look upon you as a school head, what direction you are going, what you are doing, what action you are doing, in order to ensure that your school is moving ahead, is changing, is transforming. Okay, so very important. I'll reiterate here, establishing goals and having a plan and having a vision for the school is very important. Next slide. So another thing that one as a school principal you should remember is uh, why exactly a child should come to school. Okay, so this is something I tell in most of the training programs. A child's you need to have this broader focus for education, where it is not just getting marks, passing exams, completing the curriculum or the syllabus. That is the focus of your teachers, that should be the focus of your teachers, but the focus of your teacher should be the holistic development of the child. Okay, so why I'm saying this is, India as a country has a very huge population of youngsters. So as a country, and if you are talking about a school and as a school head, you are, as a school principal, you are the person who can channelize the energies of the children. Okay, the person who can tell your teachers that they have to make the child think. It's not just rote memorization, or it's not just sitting in a class quietly listening to a teacher's lectures and taking notes and trying to answer uh, the answers at the back of the textbook. That is not education. But what is education is the ability for a child to think critically, the ability for a child to ask questions, the ability for a child to be able to reflect and try to change the environment around, trying to change the society around. I'll come to that in detail. So basically, a child should be motivated to be a lifelong learner. So when I say that there's so many youths in the country, there are also so many youths who are neither in school or neither in jobs. There are so many youths who are like that. Neither they're not doing anything valuable. So such children should not be there in the society. And if they are there, it is your responsibility to capture them and bring them to school. Ensure that they are meaningful citizens. They're doing something meaningful in their life. They are responsible citizens of the country. So as a school principal, these things are in your hands. So next slide. So what I said, the first point is the education system should not just focus on information gathering or memorization, lower order thinking, etc. But as a school head, you should ensure that children are more able to inquire. So when I say inquire, please take them out. If they are in the classroom, bring in a little bit of child fun things in the classroom. Let them go outside, let them explore. It depends on the context. Like if you're close to a river, take them to the river, ask them questions about the river, about the organisms that is living around, about the plants. Okay. And if you're if you want to bring any art, local art person into your school, you can do that. Or some craft into your craft person into your school, you can do that. There are many schools that doesn't have art and craft teachers or a sports teachers, etc. But try to look into the community where you have local experts whom you can bring into your school, because at the end of it, children have to learn. Now if you don't have teachers, it is not, there's no point in sitting back and saying that it's not happening. Do something, at least some 10-15%, if they can learn something from somebody, so that makes a big difference to the children. So let them explore, let them experiment, let them ask questions, take them around. Like if there is a bank, like there are some school heads, even the remotest places, they do something for the children. They take them to the nearby if there is a sanctuary, they take them there. They take them to the police station, to the hospital, or to some factory. Something they do, to make the children's learning. They learn a lot when they see, they learn more rather than when they just listen. Ask them questions, let them come back to class and tell, what did you see, what did you like, write it down, show it to me. So these things, it makes children motivated to come to school, क्योंकि स्कूल में कुछ चल रहा है, कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है. So why I'm saying this is, it reduces dropout. It makes the children more and more committed to learning, and it makes them lifelong learners. So education for inquiry, education for critical thinking. So this is also very important. Tell your teachers to not always focus on what is in the textbook, but आजकल तो textbooks भी अच्छा लिखते हैं. NCERT textbooks are very good for that matter, but make them think. There's a lot of issues around. Like let us say a remote children, a girl child in a remote environment, in a remote village. Many a times such children have a very low self-esteem, and they think that I mean, I'm talking about gender bias. They think that the girl is inferior to the boys, and there are some. I read somewhere that when the mother says, इनके पापा तो काम करते हैं, ऑफिस जाते हैं, लेकिन मैं तो हाउसवाइफ हूँ. So does it mean that I'm inferior to my husband? Because I'm a housewife and I'm not earning money. But from morning 4 o'clock till night 10 o'clock, I do work, right? My household chores or whatever chores around the house. So does that make me inferior, and does that make the male superior? These are certain questions that you need to, as a teacher, you need to infuse into the child's mind, especially the girl children, the bias of the girl children, many more things like गोरा होना खूबसूरत होता है. So many ads that are about fair skin. And आजकल तो there's a lot of this media, the social media, that is literally hounding the children, especially the adolescents. So let them think about it. Let them think about so many of the social media things, the gaming things. So is it helping them? Is there an alternative? What do you think? Have a discussion about these things in within the classroom. Children need to think about what is happening in the society, about discrimination or whatever it is. They need to think, they need to take a stand. And if they feel something like that is happening in the society, they need to ask, they need to question, they need to change that. So when I say developing a responsible citizen, this is what I mean. And this is what is education. It's not just cramming the textbook and writing the answers and passing the exam, but it is more than that. So this is what I want to emphasize here. Education for empowerment, build the confidence of the child, anyway, through sports, through arts, whatever it is. Some children have this unique ability to talk, to articulate things. Get that person, make that person feel important. So find out the beauty among the children in each and every classroom. So you may not be able to do that. Tell your teachers. So this is where you and your teacher need to have that common understanding. What you think should happen, the teacher should be able to implement in the classroom. Build the confidence of children, the self-esteem, make them independent, make them self-reliant. Because you make a child think in a different way, that child will go and talk to the family, and they will also start thinking in a different way. There's so many instances when children change the beliefs and values of their parents, right? So you have the key to that as a school principal. Why I'm saying all this is, be responsible for all this, for the change in the children that you'd want to become, because it's you can do this, and it's in your hands to do this. So be the change. So that is why I'm saying this. And education for developing responsible citizens, like many schools these days have the children's parliament, and many schools have spaces in their school classrooms where the child rights are told to the children. So these are all very good things, and these should be encouraged, because children need to know their rights. Children need to know what should be and what should not be, and if they are facing any kind of issues, they need to be able to come and tell you, right? So this way you can make a child who's confident, who's empowered, who thinks, who's able to think beyond the usual norms, and who's able to ask questions. A very dynamic child, and this, it all depends on the kind of spaces that you give in your school. Okay, so next. So why I'm saying this is, you need to understand the purpose of education. The earlier slide, I was talking about having goals and having a plan and having a vision. Second, I'm saying you need to understand the purpose of education. And the third thing I want you to reflect on is your own personal values and beliefs. Okay? Apne bare mein. What values and beliefs do I have about myself? My personal beliefs, my professional beliefs, right? And what do the teachers take out of me? Like, for example, punctuality. If I'm punctual, I come to school on time, then the teachers come to, it's a very obvious thing because you are the leader, and the others, they kind of model after you, right? So what is the values that you have in yourself? You need to constantly reflect. Is it helping you? Is it not helping you? For example, hardworking. You may be hardworking. You may, these are some values that people have, like school heads have. I never leave things unfinished. You know, this is a value. I believe in collaboration, right? I'm not a person, I'm a team person. So this is a value. I'm easy to relate to people. I talk to people. I make things easy for people to conversation, communication. I'm not that stiff. I'm not a intro, a within person. So these things has a big impact in your school. If you're a person who's more open, who's kind, who's empathetic, then definitely your teachers will be more forthcoming with you. The parents will be more forthcoming. They'll tell you their problems, right? So if you are a stiff person, then you need to reflect. Is it helping me? Right? Is it knocking off people? Is it pushing people away from me? I can have some beliefs like these mental models that people say, मुझे ही सारा काम करना है मेरे स्कूल, आई कैनॉट ट्रस्ट एनीबडी एल्स, सारा काम तो मैं करूंगी तभी कुछ क्वालिटी कुछ फायदा होता है. सो दिस इज अ मेंटल मॉडल दैट आई हैव, एंड आई burden myself with this kind of things. Or there are I have to be a authoritarian person, only then my teachers will listen to me. और इट कुड बी दैट मुझे ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं करना है मेरे स्कूल में, आई नीड टू गो इन अ सेम द सेम मैन, मुझे कुछ अलग सा नहीं करना है, बिकॉज दिस इज सेफ, आई एम सेफ इन दिस काइंड ऑफ वे. सो इट डिपेंड्स, right? It depends on your values, your beliefs, what you think about yourself, what you think about many things about yourself. So all these matters. And even the teachers, like if you think that my teachers are the best, that is one way. And if you think that my teachers, they are like not so cooperative, that is different. So if that is the case, then what do? That kind of a thing. So you need to constantly reflect upon yourself, because that impacts the learning climate. The first slide, when I said that school heads influence the environment in the schools, your belief, your values has a deep impact on the learning environment. To what extent you are able to open up to people, to what extent you go to others, request for help, you know to what extent you meet the community, to what extent you think about the community, illiterate, literate, what you think about them. Do you want to help them? Do you want to bring the children to school? All these matters a lot when it comes to personal values and beliefs. So always reflect on your personal values and beliefs, because they show in your action. And when they show in your action, there are the teachers, there are the children, there are the parents who look at that, and they determine what they want to do. So as a school head, you have to be very careful about your values and your beliefs and your actions, which is an outcome of your values and beliefs. And you need to constantly reflect and change in order to change your school. Okay, next slide. Yeah, strategic resource management. So many a times we realize that our schools don't have teachers, our schools don't have a boundary wall, our schools may not have classrooms. A lot of issues, maybe a water cooler or a clean drinking water, many toilets. So essential issues, things may not be there in the school. But as a school principal, how do you strategize? How do you manage resources is something that talks a big deal about you as a school head. So where do you go, right? Whom do you approach? If I'm just giving examples, and I'm sure many of you have seen school heads in Telangana who have contacted many NGOs or the industry people. Industries these days are very happy to help schools. So connect with these people, get funding from them, and improve your schools. So resource management is very important. And regarding teacher availability, There are school heads who request their alumni to come and teach the children, or like for example, some remote schools in Assam. I'm just giving an example. Maybe in Telangana also it is happening, where the local youths come and support the children in rural areas. You know, the educated ones, they come and help the children. So it depends on who you network with, who helps you out. The SMCs, the community can help. Boundary walls, there are some villagers who actually build it for the school because their children are studying in the school, and they have a concern, and they want the school to develop. So these are the things, and they will do all these things only when they feel that you, as a school head, and the school is indeed doing something. So if you showcase that, see, इतना ये सब हो रहा है मेरे स्कूल में, पढ़ाई हो रही है, बच्चे 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 they are becoming confident, they're becoming responsible, they're changed individuals. Then parents will think, हाँ यार ये school तो अच्छा कर रहे हैं. I mean, there's so many things, it's a dynamic thing, so they come forward, you know. So they realize that school में कुछ चल रहा है, कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है, then they come forward and they make your school a better place for the children to be in. So it depends on how you as a school head is a dynamic person. Next. Yeah. So this is a very important slide, I would say: planning, coordinating, and evaluating teaching and curriculum. So as I already said, when you sit to plan for the teaching learning process, you need to have data. So data-based decision making is something that you always need to remember to do. You need to collect data about students' achievement. You need to collect data about the students' dropout, students' enrollment, girls' achievement in particular, if it is a backward community, you know, a marginalized community. So you need to have data, and you also need to have data about your teachers, their teaching sessions. You can take data from the students, what they think about the teaching that is happening. So as a school head, you need to have control over these things, because when you say that, you need to show, people may not believe what you're saying. So you need to have data in your hands. Dekho bhai, ye hai, this is the data. Now let us do something about this. Okay, the achievement scores and what are the challenges. Talk to the teachers and ask them ki, what are your issues in teaching. टीचिंग में कौन सा सब्जेक्ट आप पढ़ा नहीं पा रहे हैं. What is the conceptual lack of understanding that you have, that you're not able to teach the children. If there is a conceptual clarity that is needed, sit with the teachers. Either you do it, or you call some expert from the community, or you call some expert or some other teachers from other neighboring schools. Create a learning community, a PLC जो बोलते हैं. It's a big term. You don't have to worry about professional learning community. It's not important. But what is important is the process that goes inside. And I'm sure Suresh sir has already said about the cluster, the school complexes, where number of teachers come together and they discuss about best practices, etc., which happens. But these things can happen in your school also, where teachers come together, discuss the subject matters, right? Discuss different ways of teaching something. So these things can be done in your school. And what I'm trying to say here is, if there is a problem to teaching learning process, identify the problem and learn to solve the problem. Okay. And I think the next class is about observation and feedback. But I would like to say here is, observe your teachers. It's not monitoring. Observation is not equivalent to monitoring. That you should know, your teachers also should know that you are observing your teacher's class to help them reflect on their teaching learning process. Which are the areas that they are not confident about? How can you help them? You know, make them reflect, make them think. Do I change my instructional style? Are my children learning? You know, these are the things that you as a school head need to put into the mind of your teachers during the observation and giving feedback, which I think Sri Hari sir will give more in detail. And the other thing is curriculum according to the school context. So talk about the local songs, local folk songs. If there is any festival, you talk about the festival that is happening, any local festival, talk about the importance of that festival. And the kind of food that the parents make, ask them to bring them to the classroom, share about the culture. Sometimes there are these diverse kind of, like in the border areas where different languages are being spoken in the classroom, and children have different cultures. Talk about the dresses, talk about what their mothers do at home, or talk about what their fathers do at home. uh, you can create a learning about these things. And if you have आजकल तो स्मार्टफोन सबके पास है, तो वीडियो दिखाओ, यूट्यूब वीडियोस मिल जाता है, some song, some dance. So why I'm saying this is, connect your school to the context, to the school culture, to the school context, and connect your learning to the context so that children find the learning relevant. This is very very important. If the children find that मैं जो सीख रही हूँ वो मेरे लिए important है, that is something that will make them stay in the school, and they will connect to learning. If they feel that what am I learning, मुझे कुछ कुछ फर्क नहीं है, कुछ पढ़ाते रहते हैं, मुझे कुछ आई डोंट फाइंड एनीथिंग रेलेवेंट, द पेरेंट्स थिंक दैट बच्चे कुछ नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ रेलेवेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं, then it's all gone from your hands. So make learning relevant to the child, and ensure teachers implement active learning strategies in classrooms. So I'll just like to show a small video here. It's about a teacher who is trying to make some changes in the schools. So you can take a look at the video. The first one, Jagdishwar sir. Participate. You can skip the ad, I think.
Is it audible, madam?
Yeah, it is. The video is not audible yet.
Yes. Is it okay?
ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा जगदीश्वर से.
Sir,
Audio is not coming. Increase the volume. Madam, audio is not coming. I think.
Yeah. Is it possible to stop this sharing and copy paste on a different window rather than take from the link? If you can just go to the internet directly.
okay.
And
Yeah.
try to see, because it should work actually.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Just copy this and paste it on the internet directly.
Is it okay, madam?
Can you increase the volume? There's no volume still.
Yeah,
It's full. Okay. I don't know why.
it's
Sir,
madam, we try from a different system, madam. You just continue with one more slide.
So can you show that PPT, Jagdish?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So I can go to slide number 12, please. The next one. Yeah. So promoting teacher development. Now this teachers professional development, I would say. The school heads, what they need to do is that they should make the teachers feel important, which is very much required, as I already said. And the teachers, the kind of skills and competencies that they come to the school, as a school principal, you need to handhold them, you need to coach them, you need to mentor them. Okay. So what things that you can do is you can help them, like for example in ICT, if they feel that they need some skills, you can always get in touch with a expert from outside who can come and teach all your teachers, because in the COVID situation it must have been very required for you to learn new things about ICT. Some good expert from the local area, they can come and teach your teachers. That is one. Secondly, I also already talked about the subject expertise. So if they feel that they need more content, knowledge in certain things, you take them, send them to any workshop. Online, you can ask them to see these links. So what I'm trying to say is, as a school head, you need to ensure that the teachers are feel that they are very important. Delegate tasks to them that they feel they want to do. Listen to their career aspirations, listen to them, help them achieve that. Have this one-on-one relationship with every teacher in your school. Spend time on that, because the teachers are the ones who will carry your vision forward. And teachers training जो in service training जो होता है, that will happen at its own level. So that is not all. What I'm trying to say is, your intervention is required for a teacher, because most of the time I realize that whenever I talk about teacher development, the school heads say that वो तो in service training हो जाता है. That is not all. You as a school head, you also have a role in to play when it comes to teachers professional development, because you know the school, you know the context, you know the children, you know the challenges to teaching, learning, whatever is there. So you will be in a best position to guide your teachers. Okay, so that is very important. This is another role, as you as a school head, you need to know. And one next slide please. And the next
Can I
slide.
try the audio, madam?
You can try, sir. Try, definitely. Yeah, that video is good actually.
Innovations in cloud computing, blockchain, and IoT are creating a new future for businesses.
Previously, the teachers used to mostly teach through the lecture method. When the lecture teaching method was introduced, we started dividing the children into groups. where they sit together and give presentations. I also promoted this method to encourage the children to explain things on the board. They form their own groups and present on the board. My aim was to give every child an opportunity to present their view. The children should not be shy or sit too quietly. We don't want the lecture method in the classroom, but instead we prefer to see the children give presentations. Whatever they have understood of the subject matter, they should explain it on the board and give a presentation of the subject matter. We ask the teachers if they have finished their syllabus and whether the children are learning. I also go amongst the children and ask them to confirm whether they have understood what the teachers are saying. I'm trying to find out what's really happening from both sides. I ask them to check if the teacher has explained properly and whether the children need further explanation. Even if the teacher should have explained further, I never reprimand them.
This was a short video. We can ask Jadishwar sir to send it to all of you. Basically, talking about participatory modes of teaching, learning, learning in the classroom. So what the teacher is trying to say is that she's involving, ensuring that everyone is involved in the classroom, and giving each child an opportunity to talk, to come forward, reduce their shyness, to talk what they have understood. So it is two things are happening here. One is the child is coming forward, the personality development ho raha hai, or dusra, the child is able to understand, the teacher is able to understand whether the child has understood the concept or not. Okay, and the teacher, the school principal, is also keeping in touch with the teachers to understand the extent to which these kind of activities are happening in the classroom and to what extent the children has learned. So this is something I wanted. It's just an example video for you to just think beyond the usual lecture method that is happening, and how in one activity so many other related developments are happening. Okay, so this is one thing I wanted to show. And can go to the last slide, last but one slide. Very sure. I think we are losing on time. Next slide. Next. Yeah, 16, slide 16, exactly. So I would like to say the last, show one more video also. So here what I'm trying to say is, as a school head, you need to have a lot of focus on the child. The child is very important here. Ensure that, I don't know, it depends on how many children are there in your school. Sometimes the children may be just 100 children in your school. Sometimes it may be some 1,500 children. But whatever it is, try to ensure, you personally or through your teachers, ensure that the learner is important, the child is important, whether his health is good, nutrition, sleep, he's able to, his clothing or his housing, his house situations, what is, where is he coming from, the background of the child, and what is the aspiration of the child, the kind of confidence, the encouragement, who is supporting this child. Is the parents are supporting, does he have the society support? Sometimes the children are so marginalized that they feel like they have nobody to stop to talk about their needs, their requirements, right? And whether the child, the last point, quality of task provided in the classroom, whether it is cognitively matched. I told you earlier, the child has to feel relevant. Whatever learning is happening in the classroom, the child should feel it is helping the child. It should feel it is relevant, it is important for the child. So always keep your focus on the individual child in the classroom. As a school head, this is very important. And I'll just show one more video about understanding the child's background, how it is important. and then we can just say the conclusion.
800,000 new management positions by 2026, 109,760
हमारा विद्यालय रूरल एरिया में
Our school is located in a village in a rural area.
जो बच्चे आते हैं
Being in a village, the children who attend mostly come from a lower social economic background, and they choose to come to this government school.
जो एजुकेशन है उसमें
As everybody knows, the fees here are nominal, so most students are from a lower economic background.
स्टेटस के हैं तो इस वजह से हमको अपनी पूरी जो प्लानिंग है उसको करने
Because of this, in all of our planning, it is very important to understand the context of the school and the home life of the children.
उनका प्रीवियस बैकग्राउंड कैसा है
Along with this, we also have to understand their family backgrounds, their reading and writing abilities, and comprehension skills.
एबिलिटीज़ हैं उनको भी समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है केवल फादर और मदर दोनों क्या काम
We keep a record of the parents' professions, the atmosphere at home, the siblings.
ये सब भी हम लोगों ने
We have all this information.
सर्वे
We organized a survey and the children completed a questionnaire so we can plan activities according to the child and their specific background.
अपने टीचर्स
We have also created a profile for our teachers.
जब मैंने यहाँ पर एज ए प्रिंसिपल ज्वाइन किया
When I joined the school, I realized that during the harvesting season, the children's attendance is low.
ज़्यादातर बच्चे फार्मिंग
Most parents are involved with agriculture, so they keep their children at home to help with the farming.
जाते हैं और 9th और 10th के
Children in the 9th and 10th standards are older, so they support their parents.
तो इसके लिए मैंने बच्चों से भी बात की
I have talked to the children about it, and we have discussed children who have low attendance with our teachers.
अटेंडेंस कम होती है इस जब
When there is a lot of work in the fields, like sowing wheat, paddy cutting, or paddy sowing, these children work in the fields.
बच्चे फार्मिंग के लिए चले जाते हैं तो पहले तो हमने
At first, we explained to the children at prayer times and during assembly.
जब होती है हमारे यहाँ उसके बाद
I convinced them that they were very lucky to have this school in their village.
उनसे कहा कि आप
Otherwise, they may have had to travel a long way to study after 8th class.
आप क्लास 8th के बाद
I did not say that they would not be able to study.
उनको ये नहीं
I said they would probably have to go far to do so, and that they were very lucky.
उन्होंने मैं घर में
They told their parents that their school was very nice, that we teach very well, and that they will become good human beings by studying here.
इस पर
I did not focus on whether they will become a teacher, doctor, or an engineer.
पहले उनको मैंने कहा
I told them that it's important to become a good human being first.
हमको सही रीजन बताइए
I told them that whenever they are absent, they should give us the real reason and not lie. At the start, I focused on that a lot.
खेत पर काम करने गए थे
I said, whenever you are absent from school, tell me the truth. That you went to work in the fields, or you went to your relative's house, or some guests had come over.
जब सच बोलना
Then slowly the children started telling me the truth. When they started telling me the truth, I reacted positively. Now that's the situation today.
से छुट्टी चाहिए
If any child seeks leave of absence, they have to submit an application first. That I have some work for 2 or 3 days.
पहले वो मेरे से आके
First, they must come to me and give me a reason. And if the reason is genuine, I inform the teacher and we don't stop them.
फिर क्या उसको रोकते नहीं हैं क्योंकि ऐसे क्या होगा
Otherwise, they would have been absent without informing us.
तो रूरल एरिया में थोड़ा अटेंडेंस को
So, to improve attendance in rural areas, we need to teach the children moral values.
करके सभी बच्चे अच्छे होते हैं
All children are good.
उनको
It all depends on how we handle them.
अगर हम उन बच्चों को डांटते कि आप आते नहीं हो
So, if we scold them and say, if you don't come to school and are absent, we will exclude you, their reaction will be, well, so be it. We have to work on the farms anyway.
हम लोगों ने बच्चों की बच्चों का जो
But no,
कॉन्टेक्स्ट को समझते
through
हुए
understanding
कि
their
बच्चों को
side of the
क्या
problem,
बच्चों का
their
बैकग्राउंड क्या
background
है,
and
उनकी
their
क्या क्या
needs,
ज़रूरतें
we
हैं,
have
उनको
planned our
समझते हुए अपनी
teaching and
टीचिंग
learning
लर्निंग प्रोसेस
processes.
को प्लान किया। ये
After
एक
arriving here,
जो है
I
मैं
started work on this,
यहाँ पर आके
and we are still
काम
moving in
करना
this
शुरू किया
direction.
और अभी भी हम उसी
There is a
तरीके से काम कर रहे
huge
हैं और हमारी
improvement
अटेंडेंस
in
में काफ़ी
attendance.
इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है।
So coming back, so what I wanted to show through the video was how important it is for a school principal and the teachers to understand the background of the child, the context, the parental background, the health of the child, the belief, the confidence of the child, the aspirations of the child, and accordingly take care of the teaching learning process. So here she's discussed a whole lot of things, the school head in the video, and she has tried to communicate the importance of coming to school, the importance of being a good human being, and she has tried her best to understand their side of the problem rather than forcing them to come to school. Try to understand what exactly is happening in their lives, you know. So empathy on the part of the school head and also taking certain decisions. So all these goes a long way into improving. And she says that the enrollment has increased, the learning has increased. So this is the role of a school head. So I would like to summarize here. Basically, you need to have a vision, you need to have a goal. Secondly, you need to ensure that your teachers are feeling important. The teacher's professional development needs to be taken care of. And you need to ensure that you manage the human resources, the material resources, all these things needs to be taken care of. You need to ensure that the child is very important. The child is at the center. The teaching learning process, the curriculum, observation of the teachers make the learning relevant for the children. So this is very important, and I would like to conclude here. So I would request Suresh sir to send the PPTs and partnership with the community. Yes, this is the last slide. And I know that many of our schools have a very good relationship with the community, and the community helps a lot the school heads to transform their schools. And this is because you make them feel that your school is doing something, right? So partnership with the community is something that you need to keep up every day, every minute. The make it live, the community relationship. It's very important. So these are the things, these are the roles and responsibilities for a school head to improve the teaching learning process. So I would like to conclude here. Suresh, sir, over to you. Thank you, Jagdishwar sir, for your support.
Thank you, madam.